Hey friends, thanks for joining me for today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite spring fragrances from So Avant Garde and a few others that they sent me to review that I think you may want to know about as well. I have an entire playlist down in the description box and I will leave it in the pinned comment that shares with you some of my favorite fragrances that are sold on So Avant Garde through all of the various brands that they carry. I probably have, 5 videos at this point, something like that. So there are a bunch of recommendations for all seasons, all interests, and all tastes. There is a sale this weekend that is 30% off site-wide through Monday night. Some of these will typically sell out quickly, and so if you already know what you want, just head on over to the website and use the code Veronica30 for 30% off of your order. If there are any brands that are 40% off, I will leave the details of that down in the description box as well. If you choose to use the 40% off code, I suggest placing 2 different orders because you can only use 1 code at checkout at a time. I will also share that when you get to the pre-checkout window, scroll to the bottom. There will be a box there that says to opt in or opt out of the additional shipping insurance. It can be a little pricey. I don't ever use it. I just kind of risk it. So I want to make you aware of that and that you can opt out of that. If you are just here to hear about the fragrances and you're not interested in shopping, that's totally fine. Consider this a review of some beautiful spring scents that you can put on your wish list or just hear about to know about. And if you've clicked into the video and just are not into sale videos at all, that's totally okay. I hope to see you in the next video as well. With all of that, let us jump in. I wanted to share some fragrances that maybe don't get as much hype or are newer or from houses that I haven't talked about a lot on this channel. This next fragrance you have heard me talk about in some of my favorite floral videos. So of course, in spring, one of my favorite categories is unapologetically white florals. I'm a big white floral lover, or anything that looks floral and fruity is interesting to me in the spring. I like bright, light, citrus, musky fragrances, second skin, anything like that. So you'll hear a bunch of that in this video and maybe a few other options one for a gourmand lover and then a few complex varieties in here as well. Actually, I have 2 gourmand-y kinds of fragrances in here. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite floral fragrances in my collection. If you're newer to my channel, I am crazy about tuberose and gardenia and sometimes jasmine too, some of my favorite florals, and also magnolia. Love a good magnolia scent in a fragrance. This is Moon Carnival. And so this is, for me, primarily a fluffy, sweet, very feminine, cloud-like tuberose scent. There's also gardenia in the composition. And I love that in the base, there's this interesting combination of marshmallow, tonka bean, and vanilla, which makes it a sweet, fluffy floral. And I think it is whimsical, princess-like, and mass appealing for white floral lovers. These can be pretty pricey, so the 30% off would be great. And I will share this is about a half a day wear, sometimes up to 6 hours. For me, a half a day is about 4 hours. I think about like a work day. And this can last up to 6 hours. It's fairly gentle on the skin. This isn't a massive projector, but it is a very mass appealing, beautiful, white floral, fluffy fragrance with that nice marshmallow, vanillic, tonka bean base. Really, really pretty. A newer friend to my collection, and I have to say that it's Eve at the Eve Effect. If you haven't checked out her channel, do that. She put me onto this fragrance because she loved it so much. And I believe also Alexis at Tresses of Alexis enjoys this fragrance too. I remember her talking about it. This is the smaller version of the Vilhelm bottle. So this is the big size. And I have a little Sparkling Joe here. Sparkling Joe, named after Josephine Baker. If you saw the video where I sampled this fragrance, I wasn't sure about it. I thought it opened really pretty and wasn't sure about like the longevity of it and if it had enough for me, but I thought it was pretty at that time. And I kept hearing these ladies talk about it and thought, I'm going to go ahead and get that in the next sale. You know, because sampling, when you have just like a little decant, you get a sense of the fragrance, but you don't get the whole experience and really understand how it's going to perform on you and smell in the air to other people and all of that. I mean, you get some sense. But anyway, I was willing to risk it and I purchased this in the last So Avant Garde sale and I don't have any regrets. These bottles are really interesting. They take up interesting amounts of space in your collection, you know, versus a traditional sized bottle. They are pretty and they have the symbol of the company both on the cap and stamped into the glass. And so, you know, those types of touches are really expensive to produce. So I'll just share that. A few of the key notes that make this fragrance interesting for me and that I feel like stand out in the experience: a bright, fizzy champagne opening, bergamot, which lends this sort of like bright citrusy nature to it. The middle is pear, ginger, and ambrette. And then what I get in the base is this sort of woody muskiness. And I still can't say that this fragrance lasts forever. Just like Moon Carnival, this is probably like a 4 to 6 hour deal, and then it gets really, really soft after that. But it is pretty. It is pear-like, like a fresh pear, not a really cooked down or very sugary pear smell. Fresh, vibrant, fizzy, a little musky. It has also that sort of ambroxan nature. I think this is pretty, and it's going to be fun to wear this in the spring. So I would advise checking this out. And Moon Carnival, I will share, if you're a mango lover, this fragrance was maybe not my favorite mango. This is Mango Skin. It's a little bit too like on the green side of a mango for me, and I'm not sure if it's the mango or the combination of that and the other notes in the fragrance, but a lot of people love this fragrance, so maybe check that one out too. I'm a little bit interested in room service, and I think I tried a sample of this a while ago, but I don't remember. So if you have room service or you've tried it, do let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments. I'm curious about adding that to cart. I stumbled across this during the last sale. I was like Monday of the last sale, and I'm like, what else do I want to use this discount for? And I'm, scrolling through So Avant Garde and all of the brands. And I came across this and took a risk, and I'm glad that I did. This is Secret Gardenia from Miller Harris. I think one of the ones that gets a lot of hype from here is Scherzo, and that's a beautiful rose and I believe patchouli, like a deep, sultry fragrance. I'm interested in that fragrance too. However, for the spring season, this is quite nice if you are a white floral lover. And if you have been interested in or want to get something similar to Estee Lauder's Tuberose Gardenia, this one comes pretty close to that. The Gardenia flower only lasts about 2 or 3 weeks, at least on our bushes, before they start to decay. But when they are freshly blossomed and that first week in, it's just such a fantastic, beautiful, creamy, heavenly, dreamy white floral smell. It's like intoxicating. I feel like this captures the fresh aspects of a gardenia scent, and it has this very clean backbone to it. Almost like soapy as a backdrop, although I wouldn't say it's quite soapy, but it has those sort of clean tones to it. I will say maybe some people would find this fragrance to smell a little bit artificial. For me, it smells fantastic. It's fresh, it's floral. I don't know if there's jasmine in the fragrance. Let me look if that's featured on the description of it. Yes. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm not crazy. There is jasmine in the fragrance as well. And, jasmine can be a sultry note and a very sort of alluring note. And it can also show up like a soapy, clean, maybe even like a stringent floral sometimes. And I feel like it shows up like that here. There's a musky and woody base. I would say this is almost like a combination of gardenia, jasmine, some kind of like soapy feature to it, musky woodiness, all with this like ozonic touch to it. And I like this bottle too. This has been fun to wear. I didn't find it super long lasting when I wore it. I mean, I had like a half a day experience, but the joy of spraying this on, love. Since I've been working with So Avant Garde, and it's been a few years now, I've had the opportunity to explore a brand that I would not have come across if I wasn't exploring their website. I think I had seen maybe a person or two talk about this line before that and just had no interest. So when I partnered with them, I ended up ordering some, and they sent me some for review. And I thought, where has this house been all my life? Because it's now one of my favorites on the So Avant Garde site and in all of my collection. This is Plume Impression. The bottles all look like this. They're the same. They might have a little bit of a different nuance on the feather here. Like this one is frosted, some are clear, and maybe some have like a little bit of a metallic touch to them. And then all of the names look like that, Plume Impression, and then the name of the fragrance is down at the bottom there. In case you see this kind of coming in and out of focus, I'm trying to use like a portrait mode where the camera focuses on me and the back is a little bit blurred. So I hope that's okay with you all. So this is called Art Nouveau. Did I say that? I'm sorry. And for spring, look, I love all of the ones that I've tried from this line, except maybe one. And I forget what it was called. I'm so sorry. It has a J in it. Joie. Joie. Anyway, that one I wasn't so crazy about. The others I think are pretty dang fantastic. I have 4 with me here. I want to talk about 2 for the spring and just briefly just mention the names of the other ones. Art Nouveau is maybe one of my top recommendations. This has an interesting combination of like a deep, sweet, syrupy, fruity accord and a beautiful, bright, uplifting, like floral accord. Gorgeous. And this is a hefty fragrance, even though like in texture and tone, even though I'm considering it a beautiful fragrance for spring. In the base, and I want to share this, patchouli, sandalwood, those are probably the primary players for me. Musk and amber, there's vetiver as well. But I really detect like a patchouli woodiness with some ambery tones. And then the beautiful floral heart of this and that lovely, sweet, fruity nuance, mega sophisticated, very crowd pleasing. When I have worn this, my husband has chased me around. This is one of those kinds of fragrances, not because it is sexy. It isn't that's not that kind of appeal. It is sophisticated, grown, have all of your ish together kind of fragrance, really quite beautiful. And it has like a throwback, retro, maybe even like vintage flair without smelling old fashioned at all. Quite a lovely fragrance. Then my other favorite from the line, especially for warmer weather, Pop Heart. I mean, you'll probably hear me talk about this again in the summer. This was a pleasant surprise when I purchased it. It's got some interesting notes: apple, strawberry, raspberry, some florals, and then there is this vanillic caramel musky base. Musk is a feature of this. I share that because in a video, someone mentioned, I wish I knew that there was musk in the fragrance because it kills it for them. However, I enjoy musk and I know a lot of people that do. So there is a hefty musky base to this and this beautiful summer, juicy, strawberries, like fruity aspects to the fragrance, and then some nice florals. And so it's sweet, it's bright, it's a touch gourmand from that caramel note, although I wouldn't call it a gourmand fragrance at all. It has a gourmand note in it. Really quite good. Fruity, slightly gourmand, musky, some floral touches. Very easy, pretty girl selection for the spring. And then I just want to mention two more, one that I know very well and one that I'm getting to know. MURMURE Fig and Sandalwood. It's like a creamy, just smelling this, I'm like, oh, creamy, beautiful sandalwood, like a sweet fig. And just, one of the most glorious smells, has the most amazing projection, sillage, fills a room, very unique. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and here I am. And then I'm getting to know this one, and I like it so far. Forgive me on the pronunciation, État de Grâce. This one has floral tones, and it also has these purpley florals in it. I don't know if it's violet or iris or something in that family, a little bit of powderiness, and I'm getting to know this better, but it's pretty too. My top recommendations, I should say all three, right? Pop Heart, Art Nouveau, and I'm gonna just go on and sneak in MURMURE because it's so beautiful and like a year-round fragrance. And then I've also had the opportunity to explore the Tumi fragrances. Let me tell you, these are the underdogs right now. Like the what is it called in a race? Is it the black horse? Is that what it's called? The black horse? The one that nobody thought would win? Nobody expected Tumi to come out with 4 really fantastic fragrances. There are a few that I love more than the others. Utopia, I've talked about before, and it's a soft, this is so pretty. A soft, feminine, powdery vanilla. The powderiness isn't too strong. It's just like an accompaniment. There's an apple note at the top. Delicate, feminine, beautiful, powdery vanilla. I will share this next one isn't my favorite from the bunch, but it is still pretty and I will wear it. And it's called Whisper. And I know that this is popular among the ladies. Some of the notes here: rose essential, jasmine absolute, orris, smoked amber. Ooh. It says oud in the base. I don't pick up any oud. Isoe super, yes, a little bit. This feels like a very, very fresh rose petal with attitude. It's like a rose petal that dares you to come ask her name or her number. It is pretty. It's very, very rosy. And so you have to be a rose lover to appreciate this. And so that's what I'll say about this fragrance. And I wanted to say all the Tumi fragrances, these bigger bottles, I believe are like $110-ish. So 30% off of that is great. And maybe these will be on 40% off. And if it is, I'll put that right here. Either way, a very, very great deal at the retail price or with the discount. You can't lose with these. My favorite of the Tumi bunch is Signature. So I haven't had an opportunity to really talk about this very much on my channel. Utopia is beautiful, and that's maybe like a second choice for when I want something in the vanillic, delicate family. This is a bit of a powerhouse of a fragrance. It reminds me somewhat of Aventus for Her. It's that same kind of vibe, but this is its own DNA. Some of the notes that stand out to me here: citrus and apple blossom, pomegranate, and then a cedarwood musky base. It has some really strong bones to it. It feels sort of like a very linear powerhouse of a fragrance. Fresh, almost metallic smelling in some really interesting ways. Fruity, a little bit of floral, and then a woody musky base. really quite beautiful. This is a fragrance that I would wear when I want it to be noticed going out and I wanted to wear something different where people are going to ask me what I'm wearing because it's unique, it's projecting, it's a strong fragrance, and it's got so much body and structure to it without being heavy or overwhelming. Signature, check this out. Then for my gourmand lovers, especially if you like nutty accords, this one is really good. Latte Pistachio. Why did I say it like that? Latte Pistachio. Latte Pistachio. Well, how do you say it? Pistachio or pistachio? Pistachio. Pistachio. Cute little green bottle with the minty, almost turquoisey top on it. Lovely, creamy, nutty accord in it. It is sort of a pistachio leaning nutty accord. But if you didn't know that, it would just smell nutty in general. You know how pistachio, if you really are a true pistachio lover, it has a tiny, tiny bit of a green tinge to it. Like if you didn't know to look for that, you wouldn't pick it up. I would say there's something like that here. And I didn't even pick that up. Maybe that's why the color of the bottle is that way, or because pistachios have a little bit of greenness in their coloring, especially if they're not roasted yet. There's a hint of spiciness in here. And I like that the amber base to the fragrance almost comes across as a thick vanillic base. Delightful, gourmand, comforting, easygoing, nutty fragrance that's like a day-to-day sweater weather type of deal. This isn't a spring fragrance, but I wanted to tell you about this one again. I've gone down the Gritti rabbit hole and I could spend an entire video talking about them. In fact, would you be interested in a Gritti house overview? I have enough now and have tried enough that I can share my thoughts on probably about 8 of them or so. Please let me know in the comments if that's something that you would be interested in or if I should skip that because you couldn't care less, and that's fine either way. There are so many beautiful ones for the spring. I'm going to talk about just 2, but I want to name the others that I am not going to mention in this video because they are worth checking out as well. So y'all know I love Duquesa. That's not a spring fragrance. You can wear whatever you want, but that's like a winter fragrance. I haven't tried Mango Oud, or have I? I feel like maybe I have, but I know a lot of people love that with the mango note in it. I don't get along very well with Gossip Night, but a lot of people love that. TUTU Blanc is fabulous to check out. Hysterica is a beautiful scent, very thick tuberose honey scent. May not be for you unless you love those notes. Because I'm Free is beautiful, but I think I'm going to save that for a summer video because it has these beautiful tropical, fruity notes, fruity and floral notes. Chantilly is a beautiful, easygoing, very feminine, delicate day-to-day fragrance. Adele is gorgeous. But let me talk about the 2 in front of me that I purposefully chose because they feel more springy to me, maybe than all the rest. One is Monica, which is the newest release from the house, and I believe this is named after the perfumer's wife. This fragrance is super interesting. You have to like almost like cold white floral for the spring. It has very purpley tones to it. There's a fruity accord and a floral at the top. In the heart, jasmine, sandalwood, and white musk. And then amber, vanilla, and a woody accord in the base. I'm going to tell you, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this smells a little bit like violet Parma candies, if you are familiar with that scent, with a little touch of powder, perhaps like a soapy aspect in the background, and some fresh florals. This is like a floral bouquet sprinkled with violet candies. I don't see violet in the note structure. That doesn't mean that something like that or akin to that or adjacent to a violet smell isn't in this fragrance. And then a very delicate woody musky base. This is very pretty, very appealing in the air. Immediate compliment from husband when I sprayed this. And I mean, I bring him up because he's a tough crowd. So if a fragrance passes muster with that nose, it's likely that it will be crowd pleasing for everyone else. Monica, beautiful release. And then this one was sent to me by So Avant Garde to try out. This one is Tutu. I do like the pink bottle and the faux marble cap on it. It's very pretty. I mean, the unique feature of these fragrances is instead of sitting like this, does that look familiar? Giardini di Toscana fragrances, does that come to mind? That same sort of bottle shape. These sit on their end, almost like books, right? And so that's one of the key differentiators in bottle style from this. There's some interesting notes in here that I want to call out. Pink champagne, coconut. When you think of coconut, you tend to think of very dense fragrances that smell like suntan lotion-y. The coconut here is very delicate and thin. Florals in the middle, jasmine, rose, heliotrope, which tends to be like a dense powdery scent, and then a fruity, ambery, vanillic base. So I would say this is it smells very feminine, very dainty, very precious. This is a very precious scent. I think the bottle color lends to the impression of that, of course, but pleasant. And Some folks have a challenge with this fragrance because it sits very, very close to the skin. It's light. This isn't very projecting, and these can tend to be expensive fragrances. So some folks have an issue with that. I think it's a really nice fragrance and worth checking out, and the discount certainly helps. I'll share my scent of the day as the next one, and then a gourmand fragrance that I think gourmand lovers and lovers of summer scents would really enjoy. So I'm not a huge fan of the bottles of this brand. These were also sent to me by So Avant Garde, and I almost didn't ask for them because I'm not crazy about the bottles. So I want to be clear about that. Some people don't care about that though. These are from the brand called Morph, and this fragrance is called Zeta. So you see how it has like the front of it has started to morph away. So I'm not so crazy about that or the font used for the name in the back. However, this fragrance is lovely, very reminiscent of Baccarat Rouge without being like a clone or a dupe. It's like if that fragrance had a nighttime version. Yes, I know there's an extrait version, but this is like deeper and sultrier than BR 540 in a lot of ways. But I can tell you that this has this very airy nature with a sort of like something in the neighborhood of like a sweet saffron kind of airiness to it. There's a creamy texture to it and just a depth that I have a hard time describing. If I didn't know, I would assume that there's something like an ambergris note, like a saltiness to it. The interesting thing about this fragrance is it has heft and depth without feeling heavy. You know, it sort of stays light on its toes. It's like a heavyweight boxer that doesn't weigh a lot, but can fight in that class. There's a sweetness to it. And I will say it has a touch of that kind of like Band-Aid smell that some people pick up in BR 540. Interesting release, like this, scent of the day, thumbs up. And then I have regrets of not exploring this earlier because of the bottle. So I still don't know if I want to make an exception for the bottle, but when I sprayed this fragrance, it's to die for. This is Disumano from Morph, the same company, and you see the same sort of bottle shape. This has an ombre effect on it. My gosh. This is like a coconutty, caramelly, ambery, vanilla, heavy scent. The level of thick sweetness, it's like a dessert type of sweetness, but in a perfume way. So it doesn't smell edible, but it gives you a good caramel. This gives good caramel, like a really lovely, thick, hot caramel dripping on your dessert. It's here. And I love the creaminess. I love the coconut facet here. I love the ambery vanillic base. This is thick, like creme brulee thickness, like that texture of creme brulee. It doesn't smell like creme brulee. Well, maybe like the vanillic and if you use caramel in your creme brulee, something like that. Man, very, very good. I could see this being a stunner all year round, and particularly in the fall and in the winter and summer nights, spring and summer nights. Really beautiful. This is one that would make you want to nuzzle into somebody's neck. Really comforting and cozy and sexy at the same time. So of these two, this is maybe the more familiar scent profile for folks, even though I said that this smells a little bit like, or a decent amount like BR 540. It's got its own tones, but I think this is probably the more mass appealing one. This would be for the more daring among you. That is what I have for you today. Remember that this particular sale goes through Monday night, 30% off using Veronica 30. And if there are any 40% off fragrances, those will be listed down below. I do want to share there are some brands that are excluded from the sale, and they typically are mind games, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. Gravel and Born to Stand Out. Those tend to be the ones that are never part of the sale. If you miss the sale, there will be another one. It's okay. But if you know what you want and you got your money ready, enjoy your shopping experience. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go fill up my own cart and figure out what I want to purchase in this sale. Take care. See you in the next video.